see Taryn making her way down. As Russ just said, I hope everybody who's attending Shareholder Summit has registered. And if you're looking for any of this information that was just in the Big Agent meeting, you can go to the EXP Workplace page. The EXP News and Realty pages have all of the links, and the Shareholder Summit page as well. That's coming up in, I think, 24, 23 days. Oh my goodness. Okay, wonderful. Taryn, Spencer, all 5 are on stage. Can you guys just open your mics for 1 second, say hello to me? We can just test them out before we get started.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Wonderful. Okay. So welcome, everybody. My name is Meg Burgess. I am here on behalf of the ICON team. I am very lucky to get to host these wonderful ICONversations every other week. And today I am extra excited because behind me are 5 ICON panelists, are all from Canada. I'm just going to do a round of applause for that. And I say that as I am a Canadian staff member as well here at EXP. So this is really exciting. These conversations go for 1 hour. They're a wonderful interactive panel here. They're going to be going through some questions that our moderator has and whatnot, but please stick around, put any questions in the chat box. You can use the raise your hand under your, if you click on your name, you can raise your hand if you have any questions that you'd like answered. Please just make sure that I'm going to mute you guys, unfortunately, just in case, so we don't have any overlap on that. And for our presenters on stage, just make sure if you aren't speaking that you keep your microphone closed just so we don't get any echoing. So without further ado, behind me, we have Dave Cadoon from Alberta, Natalia Zamidi from Ontario, Spencer Yankowski from Ontario, Taryn Damon from Alberta, and our moderator today is Joanne Poulin from Nova Scotia. Again, all Canadian agents, round of applause. Take it away, Joanne. I'm just going to pop up your slide for you over here.
Good afternoon for me and good morning to other people across Canada. Thanks for joining us today. This is my first opportunity to moderate one of these panels, and pleased to say it's all Canadian. Wow, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to start with introductions. So David, could I start with you, please?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Dave Cadoon. I am located in Lloydminster, Alberta / Saskatchewan, Canada's only border city. So I'm licensed in 2 provinces. Border goes right down the middle of our city, so that just makes it even more fun with writing contracts. I've been an agent for 8 years, been with the EXP for almost 1.5 years. Prior to that, I was a police officer and retired due to an illness. And I love real estate. I love dealing with people and being able to interact. And I also interact with fellow agents through these sessions.
Awesome. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Taya, would you mind please giving us a lovely introduction for yourself? Got your mic? With your mic, Natalia.
So sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm Natalia. I am a local realtor here in north of Toronto. I've been a real estate agent for 8 years, and with EXP, this is going on my 3rd year, and so happy to be here. Yeah, I think I specialize in Georgina, which is just on Lake Simcoe. And yeah, I don't know what else. I'm a mom and I have 2 boys. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome, thanks. And Spencer, could you please give us an introduction?
Hey everyone, my name is Spencer. I'm a real estate broker based out of the Barrie area, which is about 60 minutes north of Toronto in Canada. I got started in real estate June of 2020, and I was actually completely new to the industry at that point. So super excited to have achieved ICON my 2nd year in the industry. And yeah, I love being a part of the industry because I get to meet people, like you guys and also make great relationships with clients.
Fantastic. That's great. Taryn, I'd love to hear about you, please.
Yes, absolutely. My name is Taryn Damon. I've been Licensed for almost 4 years. I've been with EXP for almost 3 years. I'm a mom of 2 young kids. I have a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. I reached ICON my second year being at EXP, so that's something I'm so proud of because I also had my baby girl at the same time. I kind of focus on, I do have a little bit of everything, but one of my niches is investment properties here in Calgary. I come from an investment property background, so that's kind of what led me to it. My husband's a builder, so I also have a lot of building experience from him, and that well. And yeah, I'm super excited that this is, I don't know, it's maybe one of the first Canadian ones I've seen.
That's awesome. You do have a lot of experience. Excellent. I'm probably very short as an agent. My name is Joanne Pullen. I'm from Halifax, Nova Scotia, originally a Newfoundlander. Have to throw that in there. I've been licensed agent for 2 years. I started with KW briefly for about 8 months and moved over to EXP in September 2021. Pleased to say I achieved my ICON status last fall. It's been a great experience for me. I've done well. My previous background, very different, wasn't in real estate or building or anything like that. I ran a dog boarding and daycare business in Halifax, and I published community magazines. COVID affected my business, and I chose that time to get licensed. So anyway, thank you everybody for giving us this opportunity to chat today. And I'm going to carry on with some conversations, and I'll mix it around a little bit. So how about I start with Spencer on our first question. When you started in real estate, did you have a mentor or a coach?
Yeah, so I got in obviously with EXP here, but I did reach out outside of that. So I joined Kathleen Black Coaching and Consulting, and I've made some really great relationships there. I thought I connected with a colleague, actually, John Mercury, just a few months after I got started here at EXP. And I had a conversation with him, and I was kind of confused on whether or not maybe I should join a team or if I should stay a solo agent. And after we had spoke for a good while, he basically said, you know what, man, I think you've got what it takes. You should really seek some coaching. And that's when I got started with Kathleen Black, and it was just the right thing to do. So we started coaching on a weekly basis, and it was really expensive at the time. But, I think it was a worthwhile investment. And I was really, really happy. It kept me accountable for my tasks that I needed to do as a solo agent. And it also gave me a lot of guidance on sort of what to do next, right? Being new to the industry, there's a lot that you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And that's essentially, where coaching really came into play.
Obviously, it paid off. Good for you. Taryn, would you like to jump in next? And same question. When you started in real estate, did you have a mentor or coach?
So when I first started in real estate, I was at a different independent brokerage because I didn't want to be another number at a big box brokerage. So I was hoping to get, one-on-one training and sort of mentorship from that broker. And while, he helped me side of things, he wasn't really able to help me prospect and actually connect with clients. So it wasn't until I switched to EXP that I got an incredible mentor who was actually the #1 agent in Canada. I have to give her a little shout out, Rachel Vanderveen, who has completely helped me change. And, I wouldn't be here where I am today in my business if it wasn't for her guidance and her systems and everything that she has taught and shared with the group. And so I'm very, very thankful for her because, she tried to test everything, and it's like she this and it'll work, and it did. So thankful for her.
Wonderful. Obviously, that paid off for you as well. That's really good. Natalia, would you like to jump in next? Same question. Sorry, I'll just repeat it just in case. When you started in real estate, did you have a mentor or a coach?
So no, I am self-taught. I'm just one of those people who I just like to do things on my own. So it's not to say I didn't do courses and I didn't, go to events and stuff like that. And I didn't read a ton and watch a ton of videos. I did so much research, but that's just who I am. And I'm self-motivated. So I think it really depends on your personality. Have I done coaching? Absolutely. Like I said, I prefer to just learn on my own and seek assistance when I need it. So I don't want to discourage anyone from working with a coach. I think we all work in different ways. It's just my personality, and so that's how. Like I said, I'm just I kind of, when I got into the business, I just kind of hit the ground running, and I had a great broker too at the time. Now I wasn't with EXP, but my manager, was very helpful when I needed some guidance in that. So, which I know EXP has some great managers here as well, and also some great coaches. So if it's there and it works for you, I would definitely encourage you to get a coach, but it really depends on your personality.
And obviously you are self-motivated. You've done very well for yourself, Natalia. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. David, would you like to pipe in and tell us about when you started in real estate, if you had a mentor or coach?
Absolutely. So yeah, when I started in 2015, the agent who brought me into real estate, I definitely leaned on him to teach me the ways, and he threw me under the bus. So I had to basically drag and learn on my own what I needed to do, how I needed to do it. It wasn't until January of 2021 when I started to realize, my business was doing good, but knew it could be better. I ended up actually joining the Ryan Serhant training, and used his group in regards to coaching, and that basically turned things around for me. It opened my eyes in regards to what I could be doing. The brokerage I was with at the time didn't offer any such training. So I started to implement new things that I'd learned through that coaching program. It alienated a little bit about me with the current brokerage, or the brokerage that I was with at the time. And it opened my eyes into what was available in the world and in the real estate game. Now, a year later after that is when I left my brokerage, joined EXP, and my sponsor / coach and mentor has been phenomenal since I've joined. We talk several times a week, and it's allowed me to grow the business even more, reach new levels, and make more contacts with agents, not just within the EXP, but with other brokerages, and being able to relate with them. So if you have the opportunity, or you've ever thought about getting a coach or joining a coaching program, do it. It will definitely turn your business around.
That is great advice, David, and you've done well for yourself. So thank you for sharing that. I'll answer the same question. I started in KW with a coach, and later they added a mentor. I had a lot of background with sales, doing advertising sales into the publications that I published. And I quickly became known to give a lot of information because of my previous training on how to prospect in particular. But I was given a lot of information too. I found out that I was a D personality, not surprising, self-motivated, which is probably where I am today. My mentor and I from that organization moved to EXP together in September of 2021. And I'm glad I had her. She was very valuable to me. And I definitely feel anybody could benefit from a coach or a mentor. I hope someday that I can be as valuable to somebody else, and great experience. So my story. So I'm going to mix this up a bit, and I'll start with Taryn on this question. Do you have any help right now, such as an assistant or a transaction coordinator?
Yes, to all of the above. Yes, I do have a kind of part-time assistant who's a little bit more like a la carte. So when I need her, I can reach out. But if I don't, then I that helps part-time. We also have a graphic designer access. I come from a graphic design background, so I don't really need that. But basically anything that I can source out, if you will, to save time and focus on buying or selling with my clients, then I definitely think it's well worth to have as a resource. Not to say you need to, hire a full-time assistant if you're not at that level, that's fine. But even just somebody that does things kind of part-time to help you when, you are super busy. So then it can take those things off your plate.
That's fantastic. Share that belief. Natalia, would you like to pipe in as well? Do you have an assistant or a transaction coordinator?
I do. Well, I had one, and then I've now since she went back to school, so now I have a new one. So we are in the training process. So I highly recommend an assistant if you are at that place in your business where you can afford it. It is a game changer. And I personally feel like I waited too long because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I just like to do everything myself. But I got to the point where, I was going to burn out. So I got an assistant, absolute game changer. Even if you just, you can get an online virtual assistant, someone to just do your transactions. There's baby steps to getting an assistant. But I think if you get to a certain point where you feel like, your paperwork and things that aren't really important, I shouldn't say they're not important, but, not a great use of your time that you could outsource to somebody else, I highly recommend it, because if you're not doing the things in your business that could, get you new clients or are not really helping your business grow, then you'll kind of get to a point where you become stagnant, right? You can't go any further. So, if you can get an assistant, I highly recommend, or even a virtual assistant. And, I think that's about it.
That's awesome. David, could you answer this question for us again, if you have an assistant or a transaction coordinator assisting you?
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I pushed back at doing that for years, thinking I didn't want to spend the money. It wasn't worth it. And then a colleague of mine started to share with me that he was using a virtual assistant. Again, I pushed back for about a year, and then I jumped on board with that a little over a year ago, actually shortly after I joined with EXP. It's been phenomenal. So my virtual assistant handles a lot of my social media management, my website updates, new listings, some creations of Canva, as well as my newsletter. So that takes a huge load off of me. And also in April of last year, my wife actually joined me, and we formed a domestic team. And she didn't have the desire to go out and actually be selling homes, but still wanted to be part of the business. So she actually handles a lot of the stuff here at home, like at the office, dealing with all the paperwork. So I'm able to be out with the clients, showing, doing the listing presentations, bringing in the business, doing it that way. And not only do I realize how much it has grown my business in regards to having that assistance, even flashing back to the previous presentation on the stage here about AI, incorporating that with my assistants has, again, increased productivity. And it's just amazing what little things you can focus on or have somebody else focus on can create more business for you.
That's fantastic. I see so many husband-wife partnerships or parent-child partnerships. I think that's a grand idea when you can keep it in the family. I wish my daughter, I could convince her, but I can't. Congratulations. Spencer, could you please answer that question for us? Do you have an assistant or a transaction coordinator to help you?
As of this week, I'm welcoming Yovela. She's joining us, and I'm super excited. So she's coming on as an admin, and she's definitely going to be helping out with all of the back end business stuff, which I'm super excited about. So she's getting started this week. She started on Monday, and we've just been working together right now, getting a good understanding of the systems and a lot of the platforms that we use here at EXP to process our transactions. And it's been a lot of fun. I can already see how much this is going to benefit the business and free up time, to do more front end stuff, which I'm super excited about. But up until now, I've been pretty much on my own, really leveraging, I guess, EXP's transaction management. I think getting started as a new agent here, obviously with coaching, having some direction there has been great. Leveraging colleagues from within EXP as well, having those conversations with John and Brandon Town and stuff like that. Like, what do I do here in this situation to build out your transaction, and then uploading all that stuff to SkySlope, and then having your transaction coordinator for that specific transaction go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, and then being able to kind of make those revisions as needed has been super crucial to really learning, as much as I know now, which has been awesome. But I am looking forward to passing the torch off to Yovela and focusing on business. So it's gonna be good.
Congratulations. Good for you. I'm a different sort. I learned at an earlier age, I won't say young because I'm an old gal, but I learned that my time is valuable and I needed to work out what I'm worth an hour. So any of you out there, think about what you're worth an hour, and you take that and what can you hand off that you can't do. So I have several help in several areas of my life. Immediately out the gate, a month being licensed, I hired my first part-time assistant. 6 months in, I hired my second. My second didn't work out as well for me. So I ended that relationship and waited a couple months until I found the right person again, and I added another second. Those people work for me. The second works 3/4 hours. The first is my daughter. She's a digital programmer, so she does my website development, and she creates a website for every listing I have. She does my social media templates. She does how-to videos for everybody. So that's a great assistant. I did try a TC. That didn't work for me. I tried a couple, and I just, I like them to have more hands-on to my whole email and what's going on. So my second assistant is now being my TC as well as many other things. She does my filing. She does that. Oh my goodness, I don't know. I can't think. It's endless what Jerry does for me. But I have other things. So think about other things in your life too. I have dogs. I breed. So I have a dog walker. I have a housekeeper. Because all those things save me time in life that I can spend more time with my clients and hands-on on the ground. So that's how I work. So we'll move on to the next question. How do you manage your work and your personal life? I need help with that. Somebody help me. We started with Natalia. Can you start with that one for us, please?
Well, for those of you in the audience that know me, you can probably hear me giggling over here. Work-life balance. I don't think it's actually possible, to be honest with you. But that being said, I think you can. What I would say is that for me and my family, it's about quality time, not so much about quantity, at least right now. So the time I'm with my family, I'm not on my phone. I'm with them. It may not be as much as I would like, but I'm working on that. But what I've learned is that if it's not in your calendar, it's not going to happen. So I schedule time, to be with my family, which sounds crazy, but it's what I've had to do. So just so that I didn't book up that time, because we can get, if your calendar is open, you're going to put appointments in there. You're going to book things. So what I've found is that I have to book, I'm taking this day off. Every week I've set up a a time where I'm taking this time off. So I try and give myself at least one day a week off. And then I'm doing things with my family. We have Sunday night dinners, like that's not a non-negotiable. I have a certain night during the week where I'm doing stuff with just with my boys. But all I can say is that I don't think there's ever truly work-life balance. Our jobs are not 9 to 5. So our families have to adjust and be flexible. It's the nature of the business until you get to a point where maybe you have a buyer's agent or you have a team, and then you can take a step back, let others, run with, I guess, your business. And maybe you could set yourself up with a certain time frame. Maybe you do just work 9 to 5 at that point, right? But you have to get there, right? You got to start somewhere and get to that point. And also, like, the market changes constantly, right? So sometimes you have no time to be home because the market's crazy, as we've seen for the past couple of years. And then other times it's slowed down a bit, right? Like the past few months or 6 months, it's been a little bit quieter, right? So, there's ebbs and flows in this business, so you have to be adjustable.
I love your tips. I agree with you. David, can you speak to how you manage your work and personal life, besides bringing your wife in with you?
Well, that's where it comes down to actually being a little bit easier. Before, when she was working in the banking industry, we kind of would have to be texting back and forth if a kid had an activity that popped up quickly, like, hey, can you go, or are you available? Now we're sitting 6 feet apart from each other, so if something happens, one of us can go deal with it on short notice. But just like Natalia said, it comes down to calendar. Everything is put into the calendar. Stuff with the family goes in the calendar. Work stuff goes in the calendar. Otherwise, I'm going to double book myself, and I have done that in the past by accident. And it really sucks because, you don't want to put a client over top of family. You also don't want to lose a client. And then what do you do? So everything goes in the calendar, whether it is, a Monday weekday or if it's a Sunday, during the weekend, it's got to be in there. If, my kid has a hockey game, that goes in the calendar right away. And then there's a buffer zone where it's before or after, because I'm going to be there for that event. And then, how do you manage, with both work and personal life? You blend them sometimes. And using, for example, the shareholder summit coming up next month, I'm going down to that to take in the meetings. My wife didn't want to go down for that, but I said, you know what? Let's bring the kids down. We're going to be in Florida. Let's go take advantage of things and mix business with some pleasure. And so they're going to come down for that long weekend, and we're going to enjoy a couple of days as like an early summer holiday. So anything to kind of blend both, where you can work things together, I think can go a long way.
Yeah, I love those tips, and I admire that you put your family time in first, and I think that is a huge key to everything. So congratulations for managing that. Spencer, would you like to jump in and share how you balance your personal life and your work life?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Thinking back to getting started June 2020, and we're in COVID. It's crazy in Ontario here. So I got to start off by saying, shout out to my partner, Julia, for being so supportive throughout those first few years, because I had zero work-life balance. Unfortunately, it was really, really tough getting started with no past clients. A lot of the agents in our area and the deeper we kind of got into this pandemic, they had a lot of repeat and referral happening. And I was spending a lot of time and energy just meeting or trying to meet new people and trying to gain new contacts that were in a position to want to buy or sell shortly. And it was difficult, right? Like, we weren't allowed to host open houses. We weren't allowed to really do door knocking and stuff like that. So you had to get creative, and it was a lot of hard work. And then throughout that as well, I was, the pandemic lockdowns that we had here in Ontario. I spent all that time during the lockdowns studying and trying to level up, right? So it was pretty much just constant. I was able to get in and finish my broker segment. So I have that broker registration here in Ontario, and it was really great. But looking back now, I did work way too hard. I didn't have enough breaks, and I didn't have enough time. And I'm thankful that my family was understanding of that for sure. Now, going into 2023, it's really like what David said. You got to really put everything into your calendar, and that's exactly what I've been doing too. A, so I don't double book myself, but B, if it's in the calendar, if you got a date night, whatever that might look like, you can move forward on doing that. And then also just being flexible with opportunities too. So if we do have something that comes up, a space that opens, maybe a buyer's meeting gets canceled, we can jump on that to maybe make some time for ourselves too, which is super nice. But yeah, and also blending. I like that idea, right? So my first kind of corporate exposure to an event there was EXPCon in Vegas. And my partner, Julia, had never been to Vegas. I had never been to Vegas. And we really wanted to go see the Grand Canyon. So, it was a time for us to go to Vegas together. And it was our first trip after the pandemic too. So we hadn't traveled in a long time. And we booked a flight. Went to Vegas together, and then after EXPCon, we went and checked out the Grand Canyon, which was super awesome. So it's a combination of just that, calendar blending and making things work on the fly, because that's what we got to do in our business, right?
Absolutely. You nailed that one down for sure. Love your tips, and congratulations on your success again in managing that and having such a supportive family. Taryn, could you please jump in and share with us how you manage your work and personal life, please?
Sure. It's kind of always ongoing because my kids are so young, and so their needs are changing and kind of that. But, it kind of relates a little bit going back to, utilizing an assistant and extra resources when you can. So, your best use of time. Also relying on my, supportive group. They help a lot. If I can't do like in-person showings or something like that, then, we'll help each other out, and they'll be able to do it for me in person, but I'm still available on the phone. Being able to take time away from the phone is something that I'm still trying to work on a little bit better, but, we're not all perfect. But just kind of having that downtime and being able to put the phone down is something that I'm definitely working on a little bit more. And then like a couple of the other agents said, sort of blending things. So like David, for shareholders, I went to EXPCon in Vegas by myself, which was amazing. But for shareholders, I'm actually taking the family. So we're all going to go down. We'll be there for about 10 days, and I'm going to go check out Disney World after with the kids, which is
fantastic. That's great. So me, I'm Taryn. I'm just like you. I have a real hard time separating myself from the phone. I worry that I'll miss something important. I do try to turn it off when I'm at it in personal once I know something's been dealt with. But you know how it is in real estate. You get an offer on a listing at the most inopportune moment, or you have to respond to a counter offer at the most awful moment. So I feel like I need to keep it on for that reason. But I also schedule my work life, my work and my personal life. Say to my sisters, if you want to see me, we want to do Thanksgiving, we need to schedule it. I need to schedule it early so it will happen. So I do a bit of that, and I also rely on, I love our workplace chat. My team here in Nova Scotia is phenomenal. When I've been left in a pinch, one day I needed help on an open house, and another agent jumped to help me. Another time I had a plumber locked out of a condo, and one of my coworkers was closer than I was, and he was able to get into the lockbox and get him back in. He had left the keys on the inside and the door locked behind him. Just things like that. I do really rely on my coworkers, and I'm very thankful that they're so supportive. And again, it's schedule. That's all I can do. I hope to get better with the phone down.
Joanne, can I just jump in on that and add to that?
Yes, go for
Yeah,
it.
I was just going to say that, in the evening, unless you're working on an offer or something like that, like decide on a time that your phone goes on silent, that you're not responding to clients for the time that you're not sending out texts and in the evening and in the morning. What time are you not starting to get back to people? Because if you don't set yourself up now, you're going to get to the point where you're like sending texts, and I'm still guilty of this, but I have made a very big effort to not do that. So, for the most part, I'm not responding after 9 o'clock. And for the most part, I'm not responding before 9 o'clock in the morning, because if you don't set those boundaries up with your clients, they will expect you to get back to them at 11:30 when they text you. They will expect you to get back to them at 7 o'clock in the morning when they're up. So you need to just set those boundaries up from the start, or you'll never have work-life balance or somewhat of a work-life balance.
That is a good addition. I really do like that. I need to do something like that. I think I'm going to follow through. I hope some of you guys in the audience, if you're not doing anything like that, take a few of those tips, because you deserve it. You deserve to have a life, and you can be successful in this business. I do believe that. Okay, what tools? This is our next question, and I'm going to jump down to see if I'm doing this in the right order. David or Spencer? I'll go with Spencer, I think. Spencer, what tools do you feel EXP offers you that are essential for your business?
Okay, so I think getting started, I have to jump back to just transaction management. Having access to SkySlope and then access to transaction coordinators on the back end to help me verify and go over all of our stuff was super awesome. Now that I've kind of evolved into my, I guess just being in the business a little bit longer, finding my niche and what I want to do, really leveraging Workplace has been great. It's an amazing way for us to stay connected within our brokerage. So going to like EXPCon or down to Shareholder Summit, making these connections, staying connected via social media or just on Workplace, and getting into leverage groups within Workplace has been awesome too. So our area, there's some great exclusive listing groups that we can join in on, and it's been really powerful stuff to get a deal done with a colleague, and then also find maybe an off-market opportunity for one of your clients too, and get a good deal done. So it's really the best of both worlds, I think.
Fantastic. Thank you, Spencer. Karen, would you like to share what tools EXP offers you that you feel are essential in your business?
Probably the most work. Do a lot of generation. Our group, how to utilize
in and out a little bit. Start again. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. What I was saying is KV Core is probably the top tool that I use that's provided by EXP. Do a lot of online lead generation, so utilizing that as a CRM and a place that is priceless to me. Whether it's paid Google PPC leads or free, other online, it is so valuable, and it's something that I teach to the other agents within our group who have and just so that is probably top resource to use. EXP, that's a huge cost savings from being here. And then just the different workplace groups. There's a lot of
yeah, Taryn, you are cutting in and out.
Better.
Still some fuzz. I'm not sure what's gone on different. You were fine earlier.
I think it's just my laptop struggling a little bit with trying to keep up with the EXP world. So you hear it sort of rubbing in the background, so it's getting warm. So hopefully it is, is it any better? Is it still choppy?
A little bit choppy.
Okay. Like,
We're hearing you though.
hearing it? Okay, thank you. So basically, like the top thing that I would use is KV Core. It's huge. It's very valuable.
I might have to jump in on one of your sessions sometimes, KV Core. I do use it as well. But all right, we will move down to Natalia. Can you share with us your essential tools?
Sure. So I enjoy the KV Core too. I haven't learned it as much as I know, it's capable of doing for us. So but I am boosting my listings and really generating a lot of great leads from that. So I find it is a really, really great tool that EXP offers to us. And even just boosting listings, just, the amount of leads that you get from that, and they're good leads, is fantastic. So I really enjoy that. Like I said, I still have a lot more to learn. I like workplace chat too. It just gives us a sense of community, and whenever I'm looking for a referral partner, it's a great place to find one. And I also am grateful for the boot camp that EXP offers for new agents. I've had quite a few new agents sign up, and being able to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to be here, but at least you can join the boot camp and get basics. It's invaluable, really, because they set you up for success, whereas most brokerages don't do that, and I think it's actually imperative after you get your license to go through the boot camp, because let's face it, the schooling doesn't really set you up for success. They set you up with the basics, and then you do boot camp and it gives you more one-on-one hands-on experience. So those are some things I like to use.
Fantastic ideas, and I've not seen boot camp. They didn't have it when I started. David, would you like to add to us or share with us your essential tools that EXP offers to your business?
Absolutely, and I'm going to be just on the bandwagon with all the others. KV Core. I didn't use it for the first 6 weeks that I had joined. I really was focused on just transferring our business and dealing the way I had done it before. But in early March of last year, I got KV Core up and running, started to learn how it worked. And this is something I tell all new agents that I deal with, or even when I'm doing agent attraction, is in that first month alone, I collected 7 buyers that all closed deals by the end of April of last year. And that was just off using KV Core. At the time, I was the only agent that was actively using KV Core in my market. The other EXP agents weren't. And to this day, so we're over a year later, I'm still, out of the agents around, I'm using it the most, and it capitalizes for me. I looked this morning, 1,526 people are in my drip campaign with KV Core. And I continue to get buyer leads through it every week. And sure, some don't pan out, but the connections are there. And I'm just amazed at how much KV Core can provide. And I try to teach other agents how it works, how to utilize it, how to utilize the free portions of it. And I do use some of the paid aspects with it as well. But the free ones, and linking them with social media and just getting out there, you can set yourself so much higher and so much better than the Remax, the Keller Williams, the Century 21 versions that are out there. We have the best of KV Core, and essentially it's free, right? It's for us to use, and if you're not using it, you're losing it. And just think of all the clients that you can pull off of it. And I'm happy to share with anybody if anyone ever wants to learn how to use it.
David, I might take you up on that. Thank you very much. All right, for me, again, I'd use, like Natalia, I'm using my KV Core, and I do Property Boost. I'm on a campaign that automatically, and I don't know if you guys know that, but Inside Real Estate sold me a package where I do an auto boost on every listing I have 4 times a month. And if I do not have a listing to boost, they'll do a buyer's boost for me. And I find that successful. So I'm really glad to be on that. That way I don't have to think about anything. They do a really good job with it. So I do love KV Core. It has so much power. I watched a video yesterday on how to create some marketing materials for your newsletter. And that was done by another agent, and I cannot tell you who that was right now. But there's so many of you out there that have value with KV Core that I want to learn more from. I love our workplace chat. I think in Nova Scotia, we rely on it. We ask each other's questions, which takes a lot of pressure off our broker, managing broker, Sandy, to answer for each other, so we don't have to always be bothering him when other agents can help each other. And I really love how we rely on each other. I believe we're a true team in Nova Scotia, and I'm very proud of that. The other thing that I enjoy that EXP has offered us is the additional training. I attended an agent academy in January, hosted by Bill Pipes and John Cheplak and Daniel Beers. And that was absolutely incredible. And if I can share one thing I learned from that, is that's managing the people in your life that you know. I have 4,500 contacts in my phone that I had before I ever started with EXP. And I was not leveraging that at all. So I'm still in the process of inputting it all into Core. But I'm losing a lot of business because I haven't been leveraging that. So all of you out there, if you have relationships with, whether it's your kids in hockey or a book club or whatever your hobbies are in your personal life, those are all avenues for you guys to do business with people. Parents of your kids' friends, whatever it is, get in touch with them, because those are your future clients, and you need to leverage those connections. Okay, so now our last question of the day, I'm going to start that one back with Taryn. What's the one thing you can offer new agents that you do and you feel is a factor in your success? One tidbit that you'd like to share with people today.
And I know it can be scary and everything like that, but I always encourage new agents to go and do an open house, because that will get you comfortable with having those real estate conversations. Fine, it's still great practice. That's definitely one thing. And then find what you really enjoy doing, sort of like a niche, whether it's investments or just whatever it may be. Then really kind of hone in on that and try and be like the best that you can at that particular.
Fantastic. Aaron, thank you. Natalia, what can you offer to everybody listening to us today? Like, what's one of your favorite things that you think is helping you make your business a success?
Oh, definitely grit and consistency. If there's anything you can do in this business, just pick one thing and just be consistent. Whether that's offering to do open houses for other agents, just to get out there, knocking on doors, getting your social media, just get out there, but be consistent, because consistency always pays off. And this business is incredible, but it's hard. So you got to have grit, you got to be self-motivated, and you got to love what you do, because I can honestly say, after 8 years of being in this business and working my butt off, as we all do, is that I'm still excited to get up in the morning, even when there's some really hard days, or when there's been hard days. I still get up and I still am consistent and I still do what I need to do. So if I can tell you that, that's just keep going.
Really good advice. Thank you, Natalia. David, what's essential? What's one of the key things you can give people today that you feel is you equate to one of the reasons you're so successful?
Scheduling. Again, flashing back to earlier in our conversation, the calendar. I have to have my day regimented and being scheduled. Maybe that comes back from me being, a police officer where everything had to be done in a certain order. But I found that once I started really following a calendar and schedule, my productivity was bigger. Let's just share, for example, today for my calendar, started at 7 a.m., had to enter a listing onto the market. I had a coaching session with my organization between 8 and 9 this morning. 9 o'clock, I had to go show a commercial property. Got back just in time to make it to this meeting here. And from here, I'm going right to photos at a new listing, followed by some agent attraction calls. And then I've got about a 2-hour window where it's open. What am I going to do during there? Probably work on some social media, catch up with some clients. But that's how I regiment my day. Mornings are usually set for at the desk, only go show if I absolutely have to. Afternoons are for showings and meeting with clients, and then evenings are for writing offers and showings as well. I have to stick with that regiment, and that's made my day more productive. And it's same with, responding to clients, like when they're texting. Sometimes I don't get back to a client for a couple of hours, but they know that I'm busy, but I will get back to them, and I'll get back to them during a set time during the day. I learned that through one of my coaches a couple of years ago, that responding to emails and text messages, you have to set a certain time for the day to do it. Otherwise, you'll get distracted. Focus on who you're dealing with at the time.
Very good advice. You're very regiment. I'm not as good as you. Spencer, can you share with us your one thing, or you can share a couple if you like, but that you feel is one of the factors that you're so successful?
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, Joanne, I was down there at Agent Academy. So maybe we were sitting beside each other at some point. Didn't realize it.
Yeah, we may have been.
I take away from that I didn't really think about before that might actually be pretty good for new agents learning scripting and stuff like that is just tonality, right? So they really drilled into us, Bill Pipes, is, smiling when you're talking on the phone and stuff like that, and really, watching your upswings and your downswings. If you don't know what that means, just, search it on Google and you'll get a quick reference. But it's pretty interesting stuff, and I think that could be a good little nugget. The other thing I think for newer agents, looking back to when I got started, is, if you're looking at data and stuff like that, we always sometimes, start by zooming out, right? So you're looking at everything all at once. And maybe as a new agent, you sort of do this with like your search area or your city or where you live. And, I think it's important to realize that you can zoom in and you can really hone in on smaller communities and focus in on, even get more micro on neighborhoods and stuff like that, and really become, an expert within that marketplace. And I think as a new agent, that'll help you from feeling overwhelmed with everything else that you need to do on top of that. I think for a new agent coming in that's maybe not joining a team and is going to be solo, I think starting and focusing in on, your personal brand sooner than later is going to be important, right? Especially in this day and age. And also, with EXP, if you jump into your enterprise, there's a marketing and branding area. And as a new agent figuring out their brand, this could be a fantastic tool because you can actually go into enterprise, the marketing branding area. And as an agent, you can go ahead and design all of your own stuff, and you can kind of work with what EXP has to offer in there in terms of colors and create business cards and flyers and your brochures and your signage. You can even do listing presentations in there, and I think that's something that's super important as well. So at the end of the day, it's really just kind of zooming in, narrowing the focus, and not getting so distracted with so much information because there's so much out there.
Spencer, you just shared with me things I didn't know. That was like, I had no idea we can do listing presentations in there. So that's really, really cool. And I'm a marketing girl. So for me, I'll share a couple. One is marketing for sure. I came at the gate with $11,000 branding campaign done. New website built, new photo shoot. I have 2 logos, one with my initials, one with my name. because I'm a marketing person. I was in advertising sales, so I had that belief. So, and I regularly advertise in print magazines, and I'm on a bus. I'm on 20 buses in Metro Halifax, so my face is around, and people regularly send me a snapshot of my image on the back of buses, which keeps me top of mind. I do believe in that. So I equate that to one of my big successes. The other one I like to share is getting over your fear. I learned a long time ago that the things you think you're afraid to do or you're not good at, usually with practice, you become good at them. So if you're afraid to pick up the phone, if you make a goal for yourself to pick up the phone and start, maybe it's 10 calls a day, maybe it's 20, maybe it's 50, but the more you do it, the more faster you're going to get over that fear and the better you're going to get at it. It's like listings. When I started as an agent, I was frightened to death to do a listing appointment, and I felt like I wasn't any good at it. But the more I do it now, I feel like I'm real do an awesome listing presentation. If I can get in front of somebody, I'm getting them. So it's about practice, about repeat. It's just like playing a piano. If you practice, you become good at it. So stop being fearful and get out and do it. So make a list of the things you're not doing and why you're afraid, and make a goal for yourself to change that and do it. My tidbits for today. I am going to open the floor for questions now. So if you'd like to turn on your mic and ask any of us questions, we'd welcome to hear them.
Yeah, could somebody maybe just comment on what brought you to EXP?
I can answer that.
Yeah, go ahead, Spencer. All yours.
I think that was Dave, but I can go for it too after.
My apologies. Both of you go for it.
All right. The attraction to EXP for me was I had already started my own branding from when I was with taking the coaching with the Sirhan Group. They told me no matter what brokerage you're with, your brand is your brand. They're going to come to you for you. And it started to resonate with me. I was with Remax before, and then I had to always pump Remax. EXP told me I didn't have to do that. I could be my own brand, and that was attractive to me. That on top of revenue share, stock options, it just allowed me to grow my business. And the fact that, yes, I'm under brokerage of EXP, but the business is mine. And people are coming to me for me. They're not coming, clients aren't coming to me because I'm working at EXP. They come for me because I'm Dave Cadoon. And that seems to be the goal that I wanted to reach at the point, and what's resulted in my business growing.
Spencer, do you want to jump in there too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So obviously I got started June 2020. So this is the pandemic era, and it was really hard to get in with other brokerages too, to sit down and interview. But I did a lot of research in terms of what EXP offers that the other brokerages didn't. And, there's a lot of avenues for us to continue to generate wealth and stay within our industry, right? So it's revenue share is a good form. But I mean, you can also opt to go in for stock, right? So you can opt to have a certain amount of your commission go towards buying stock every time you have one land, and I think that's super important. Being in a brokerage that's agent centric like us, it's broker owned, right? Like we all have a share of this company. We like to see which direction it goes in, and I think that just helps everybody move forward in a positive direction. And then also talking to some other agents that are not within our world, a lot of the things that they kind of refer to as like competition between, other agents within their office and stuff like that, right? And we really don't get that feel here, which I think is super awesome. There's a lot of collaboration and a lot of sharing of knowledge. And it surprises me every day. Like, you jump into a workplace or you come into the world and you sit down and you listen to a presentation and you hear how much these people are just giving out to us. And, it's our choice to put it in our business. But if we do, we could really exceed. So.
I so agree with what you just said there. I'll answer it quickly as well. I didn't know anything about EXP when I started with Keller Williams. And I had interviewed several brokerages when I chose the brokerage, and I was going to go with Exit. But when I learned about KW, I felt it was a better choice for me. Had I known about EXP, I would have immediately went to EXP. It was lack of knowledge. It had only been in Nova Scotia for 2 years when I found out about it. So once I found out, I didn't even know everything about EXP. For me, it was a numbers game. It was just based on what I was going to pay for commission for my cap rate, and being the opportunity to get that back. I was like, what? Okay, I'm game. And that was it for me. I'm trying to scan some of the questions in chat.
I don't think there was any that we missed, Joanne. It was just some great comments.
No, just chat. That's all.
Yep.
That's great. Thanks everybody for your comments too.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much to our 5 ICON agents for joining us on today's ICONversation. I hope you enjoyed this. I know I truly did. I always love hearing the stories about our agents and these icons. I'm going to drop the link here. You can view this on the eXp Realty YouTube page. It's always streamed live, and all prior ICONversations are on there. If you have any other questions regarding ICONversations or with these agents, I'm sure they wouldn't mind if you reached out to them via Workplace. I know lots of agents always love connecting with other agents at eXp. That's one of the best things about it. So thank you again to the panel. I appreciate you all, and I hope you have